All right, here we are at TESPN Media Day, joined by a couple of senior soccer captains, Dakota Bemberis and Placide. Both of these guys, 4-year players in the team leaders. Just want to ask you guys, what are your goals for this soccer season?
So I really hope the team can win either LIS or the state championship this year.
Yeah, I agree with that. I want the team to get closer, like, off the field, so then we can work better on the field together and, in turn, win LIS or states.
Yeah, absolutely. And from my observation, you guys have both done a great job of building that team chemistry, but it's obviously early in the season. What are some things that, based on y'all's experiences, maybe older teammates that you had, like some of the captains in your younger years, maybe who are some people that you learned from and you want to emulate their leadership style?
I really learned from Brooke Tilka. I just remember having to defend her when I was a freshman, and I would be so intimidated, but she was so kind and respectful, and she taught me a lot.
Yeah, Brooke and also Lauren Park, I talked to them a lot about, like, their journeys to go play soccer in college and everything, and they really helped me, like, just, like, find a way. They helped me with little things, like first touch or something like that, and just, like, small things like that help me become a better player in the long run. And so that I want to, like, do that for, like, the younger players on our team.
I've noticed through this winter and even into the spring season, as we've started practice and now have a scrimmage and a game under the team's belt, that both you look confident and look like you really stepped up as seniors. Do you feel that way? I mean, do you feel like you're not going to settle this year and just be the absolute best player that you've been ever in your life?
I definitely feel that way. Also, not playing in college, this is like my final year, so I'm going to try my best. I also think when I step on the field, I have the responsibility of showing the younger players what it's like to play at this level, especially since we have 4 8th graders on the team, so I really need to step up.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're the two players that are going to really hold this team together, and so it's just important for us to, like, lead by example. And I was very nervous before the first game, but, you know.
Yeah, well, hey, it worked out, got the W, and also you had some great halftime comments that I think kept everybody knowing what they needed to do to win. Well, Allie, let me ask you, because you are going on to play in college next year, and one thing that's a little unusual with soccer is we play in the spring, and then you will play in the fall. So it's just several months from now you're going to be in college soccer at Stevenson. Can you just talk about your expectations and what makes you excited to be playing at that level?
I'm so excited. I just specifically remember my sister last year. She graduated and went to play at Catholic, and when she started playing, she told me, she was like, this is amazing because every single person out here wants to be here and gives it their all. Because I know, like, I mean, for high school sports, like, we need a sports credit or it's just for fun and it's not always super serious. But I'm really excited for, like getting pushed really hard to, like, be my absolute best.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And then since you mentioned your sister, I have to ask, since you're the 4th Placide player to come through this Titan program, what are you going to do to set yourself apart and be the greatest Placide in Titan soccer history?
I don't know if I can do that.
She's already got a drill named after her.
It's a pretty high bar. You have a drill named after you, so that's something. And Dakota, I feel like you could probably surpass your brother's accomplishments, but what's the legacy that you want to leave in this program?
The legacy I want to leave is I just want everyone to know that Trinity is the community, and when you step on the field, it's like a stress reliever. You can leave all your struggles of the day behind. So, yeah.
All right, well, so glad to be joined by these two awesome seniors. Can't wait to see what you guys do out there on the field this year. Placide, Dakota Bemberis. See you next time.
Welcome back. I'm here with girls soccer coach Rick Hamlin. Trinity legend, played here about 50 years ago. Has been coaching ever since. So, Mr. Hamlin, if anybody knows Titan sports, it's you. But recently, you've dropped down to just coaching girls soccer for the current year. So, I'm sure you've been waiting all night. Can't even sleep, staring at the ceiling, waiting for the first game. So, what's it been like getting prepared for this season?
No, you're right. I mean, for the last 20 years, I've coached basketball every winter, so the spring season's really kind of crept up on me. But this year, not coaching basketball, I have had a lot more opportunity to work with the players this winter and to think about what this season would be like. So you're not wrong. I mean, the night before the first game, I didn't sleep a whole lot because I was so excited. But it's a good excitement. It's an excitement of just taking a group of players where there's some nice experience, about 7 returning starters, but also some new 8th and 9th graders that were really excited to join the program. And just as a coach, that challenge of trying to fit those puzzle pieces together to make the most beautiful picture that you can.
Yeah, so I'd say this year, although your program has always been historically good, but I'd say this year you have a lot of talent up at the top and a lot of young talent, maybe more so than other years. I think usually it's more spread out, but I'd say this year you definitely have a bunch of good young players and some very strong seniors. So what's their relationship kind of been like, kind of managing between those two groups of people?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, we've got 4 really strong seniors, including 2 that we talked to here at Media Day, in Placide and Dakota Bemberis, who've been part of the program for 4 years, but before there was ever COVID, who played on a team their 9th grade year that only lost 1 game the whole regular season. So they really are steeped in the tradition of our program. But then we have 4 8th graders on varsity. I mentioned at one of the morning meetings that in my previous 17 years, we only have ever had 2 8th graders on varsity combined in 17 years. And we've got 4 this year who are all playing big minutes, plus as well as several 9th graders that we're excited about, a 10th grade transfer who we're excited about. So I think the seniors thus far have done a great job of enculturating the new players into this is what our program is about. And yes, we want to win, but it's also about that family dynamic that we take a lot of pride in, and creating relationships that, they'll help us on the field, but also are relationships that these players are going to carry with them, hopefully for the rest of their lives. And I mean, recently I was privileged to be invited to the wedding of one of our former players who graduated about a decade ago, and 3 of the bridesmaids were her high school soccer teammates. So like those kind of things to me mean everything. Just those relationships that they develop and passing down that tradition within the program.
Awesome. Well, I know 2 years ago, unfortunately, you guys didn't have a season at all. And then last year, it was the COVID year. So definitely, I know you guys played some games, but it wasn't normal. And so going into this year, coming out of the spring, cold months, how have you been getting your girls ready to go and kick back into a fairly normal season this year?
Yeah, exactly. So the last really full season would be the spring of 2019, and we had one of the best seasons in school history, but there's only 2 players left from that team, Allie and Dakota, who I already mentioned. 2020, I mean, of the list of problems that COVID caused the world, the loss of a soccer season is relatively minor, but that was going to be the best team we'd ever had, I think, and we really were primed. We got 2 games in before everything hit, and we were crushing people. And then last year, it was weird. And by the end, it felt pretty normal, but we played the first half of the season wearing masks. There were limitations to what we could do in practice even. So I'm almost having to remember, even though I've done this, like you said, for a long time, having to remember what it's like to be able to basically go full tilt. And not that COVID is completely over, but the restrictions are much more minimal than what we've had. And I'm having to teach things kind of for the first time for these players. It's not the first time for me, but I have to almost go back and remember old notes of like, all right, here's what you say the day of the first practice. Here's what you say the night before the first game. Here are the things the kids should focus on that we want to direct them towards. And it's really caused me a situation of trying to draw on memories that go back 3 years plus, but it's also awesome. Like, it's so great that we can do a lot of things we haven't been able to do before. It's awesome that we have this beautiful field that is still relatively new for us. This field got turf. This is where we used to play back here, and now we got that field right in the middle of campus. The pitch is great. The maintenance guys have got it looking beautiful, and we don't have to share it with anybody anymore like we did for so many years. So there's a lot of newness and freshness, but then there's also things that are universal to how you put a team together and how you create a culture in that team. It's just been a while, so that's kind of been my challenge of reminding myself what it's like to have a quote-unquote normal season.
Awesome. Well, going into your 47th official girls soccer season, I wish you the best of luck and hope it's the best one yet.
Thank you. 18th, but who's counting, Sam?